Hi friends, welcome to my channel. Today we are going to design a bracelet, a cuff bracelet with some of these amazing rose quartz beads. These are, I think, 10 millimeter or 12 millimeter, I'm not so sure. Let's find out. So excuse me. So this is about, say, 10 millimeter. So now these are matte, as you guys can see. Let's cut it up. We don't have a lot of beads, so that's why I thought I will do a bracelet with it. So 10, 15 and 19 beads we have. So for this project, this was inspired by a jewel school project, so I really liked it. So I'm gonna do with this rose quartz beads that we got from the Dusty Rose Bargain Bead Box subscription. So we have these. As you can see, there is a lot of dye right there. That's residue from the cord. As such, the rose quartz is not that bright, which is how it should be normally, because it's light pink. So this is a 16 gauge wire in antique bronze or vintage bronze, and this is also in vintage bronze, but this one is antique bronze. This is 22 gauge wire. So this is the measurements that I'm gonna use, but you can use 14 gauge as well. So we need about, say, if I'm thinking about, say, 16 to 15 to 16 inches is what we need. And I'm gonna run my fingers through so that I can measure. So for some reason, this Benacraft brand nylon jaw pliers, I don't like it that much. It's not doing the job properly. I just bought them, but I'm not liking it. So because it's a thicker gauge wire, you need to run your fingers and make sure you absolutely warm them up, right? So I need about, say, 17 inches or so. 16, yeah, 16 inches is more than enough is what I feel. But let me just take this much and see if I have any leftovers. So this is my 16 gauge wire. As I said, you can use a 14 gauge wire as well. So now, about, say, here, I just bend this wire. So no, I don't bend it wire. Okay. Actually, I do bend it a little bit. Okay, just like that. Then I take my flat nose pliers and about, say, here, I bend it properly, just like that, and I straighten this up. Okay, so you have a bend which is pretty straight, which has a corner. So I'm just going to run my fingers and make this nice and pliable, okay, and have that bend right there. Okay, so now you keep the bead and see how much you want the distance. So you don't need a lot, but as I said, just want to make sure that this is nice and crisp the edge is. Okay, just like so. And now I'm going to keep this bead and see how long I want this to be, and then take my flat nose pliers again, keep it right here. Okay, just about say here. Oops, it's cumbersome, so you can also take your marker. I think that will be a good one to do. So this is a permanent marker, but that's okay. You just mark it right there. Take your pliers and find the mark, and then bend it at that point. Okay, now you have this kind of a channel that you formed with the wire. So now make this crisp as well. It's a very old flat nose pliers that I have. I need to put some oil in. I have never used it for a while. So make this end also crisp and smoothen that wire. Okay. I want this to be flat, like there, like this flat. Okay. It actually goes like that. Play with it for a while. So now you have these. So now if you measure, you need 7.5 inches is what you need, which is going to be 16.5 centimeter is what you will need actually. So I'm going for a 17 centimeter. Okay, I'm gonna snip off the wire. So I have a bigger piece to work with. So that's the idea. Now I'm gonna take my bail making pliers and then take the end and make a loop. So I start the loop on both the sides inwards. Okay, so I like to not use my bail making pliers. I like to use my round nose pliers for this purpose, but bail making pliers is an ideal choice. So take this and make it like that. Okay, and kind of make this even more into this. So there we go. This is what we want. Now what I'm going to do is I'm gonna hammer this part so that it's nice and sturdy for me. A little bit loud, but so if you want a textured hammer, you can use the textured hammer as well. You can also do your own texture right there. Can see the interesting texture. See how nicely curved in. So I'm just gonna hammer the other part as well. Make sure it's nice and sturdy. I'm also going to take this and make it nice. Don't worry about this, we will get this straight. But now we have to start adding our beads and our 22 gauge wire. Okay, this is Benacraft brand, and the 16 gauge wire that I used in this project is from Parawire. So I'm gonna take about, say, like 2.5 feet. Okay, so I'm just gonna cut it at that point. It might be a lot, but as I said, if I have a lot left over, it'll be easy for me to, you know, so easy for me to reuse the piece left over. So I'm just going to anchor this wire to our frame. Okay, just like so. Use your pliers. You don't have to use your hands all the time. You can start using your pliers. Okay. Couple of wraps and just squish all those coils together. Okay. Now take your beads. So drop your rose quartz down. Okay, just like that. Okay, and then so here we go. Add the other bead. See, this wire is coming from the top, so I go underneath the bottom wire, just like so, and then again wrap it around the bottom. A couple more times. So you should keep this consistent. So I'm just gonna keep it 3 times, and the 4th time I'm gonna actually a couple more times is good, is what I feel. So 5 times total. Then take another rose quartz, add it to your wire, drop it down. So in gel school they did it a little bit different, but I feel that this is more secure and I like the feel of it. So here we go. So we have a couple of wraps here. So if you want, you can actually straighten that out, but for now I want this to not rub, so I'm just gonna go further in my channel right here that I made, right? So here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, that one was from the top to the top, so this one will be from the bottom to the top. Just crisscross, that will be a good measure. So drop another bead right here. So that came, okay, that was underneath. So now I'm going to go up. So between these 2 wires, bring that down right here, and then I'm gonna wrap in the bottom channel. Okay, that's 1 wrap, 2, 3, 4. So 4 full wraps has been always seen. So now I'm ready to add the next one, but before that, see, this coil is all out of shape, so just squish that with my pliers and make sure they are nice and neat, and then bring the wire. So now I add another bead. So basically I go back and forth with this bead in this channel. So that's what I'm going to do. So that's coming from the bottom, so I go on the top, so that way it's nicely spaced. So the wire, as you guys can see, it's coming from the bottom, so make sure it lands on the top of this channel for wire wrapping. So if you crisscross that pattern, that feels much more secure and the beads won't go, you know, down or so. So that's 4 wraps. So now it's gonna make sure you make a nice coil out there. Now it's the time to add the next bead. So basically I'm going back and forth throughout this channel by wrapping on the top and the bottom to secure the beads in between this channel. Okay, so since we have this gap, it's easy to do so. Since it's a 10mm bead, I thought the 22 gauge wire is nice, but if you want, you can use the 24 gauge wire as well. Okay, so the wire is gonna go sideways that way. So now I'm gonna add the next bead in my channel. So I'm gonna continue wrapping this bead back and forth to this channel, and then I'll come back and show you guys how we can finish it off. Okay, so I'm almost at the end actually, right? So I add one more rose quartz bead. The 22 gauges wire is coming from the bottom of the frame, so I add the bead and take it to the top. Okay, and then over here I wrap it a couple of times. So this has to come like this if you want to add one more bead. But if you do, what will essentially happen is, let me see if I can add one more rose quartz to this frame. If I add that, see, I have to open this up a little bit. Okay, just to fit my beads in. You can do so if you want to. See that part right there? Kind of lost its shape, right? So just gonna fix it first. Take my round nose pliers and okay. Manipulate this as much as you can. At the end of the day, it's wire. You should be the boss of the wire, right? That's right. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna cut this up a little bit. Okay, that way these two will look similar. There we go. And I can still fit my rose quartz bead one more out there. So I'm just going to wrap until I reach the loop. So I want to actually connect this loop. Take the wire and go through that, then come back through that loop. Make sure you don't kink the wire so much. So I just want to come and attach these loops together. That way this cuff is not going to go anywhere. Okay, making sure the loops are connected. Because I was working with this wire for so long, it's kind of very worked up already. So there we go. And couple more wraps between the loops. Okay, once you get that right, make sure, okay, that's nice and flat. And then come back here, the loop which has less wire, the wrap is out here, right? So we want that similar wrap on this side as well, so that it's nice and even. So here we go. It's totally up to you. If you don't want it, you don't have to do it, because what happens is here also we have wraps only this side, we don't have it on the other side. So you can skip this part if you want. It's already kinked. My wire is, as you guys can see. I shall try my level best. To make one more wrap at least. Okay, now I'm happy with it. So I snip this off and make sure this tail is nicely tucked in. There we go. So about this end, what you can do here is you can just insert this wire in here. And then snip that off. Make sure you tuck that in nicely so that it doesn't catch hold of any of the fabric, or see, I have approximately 1 feet left, so I can use it for another purpose, nice and big enough. So this is what we have so far. Now let me see. Length is only 6 and some inches, just a bit. So I take this, I place it in the bracelet mandrel and just shape this a little bit. So you can shape it with your fingers as well. Okay, but just do so gently, don't be very harsh. I mean, this is a round bracelet mandrel, but the ideal thing is to do with the oval bracelet mandrel. That's what will be, very nice. Okay, I'm just shaping it with my fingers. Okay, nice and neat. So this is how it will look like. I really like this, the way this turned out to be. I still have 4 more beads left which I can use for earrings, but I really like the cuff. I wish I would have made a little bit bigger for my hands, because it's kind of nice and tight, but just a little bit bigger would be nice, I guess. But now you guys know, so you can, decide on that. But that's the bracelet. I really like this vintage bronze against the rose quartz. I hope you guys like this tutorial. If you do, give it a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, don't forget to hit the bell icon for notification. I do upload videos couple of times a week. Thanks so much for watching. Have a good day. Bye bye.